Brad Williams, Excel Primed. How about an introduction to XMATCH? Find a player with the lowest golf score. We're replacing match with XMATCH. The XMATCH is the newest tool, or relatively new, relative to the age of match. And we're going to do the exact same thing. Index, and just pretend that there's not an X there, and we're following the same steps. There could be some alignment issues. In other words, let's take a look. All right, XMATCH. What does it do? It searches for a specified item in a list and then returns that item relative to the row. And we're going to do the exact same thing over here using a formula based on the X function and index. You can locate the location with the shortest distance. I don't know, shortest distance. How about the lowest golf score? We just have stuff, a list. We have name and we have golf score. Well, here we're looking up, first we're going to look up the player based on the golf score. No big deal. Here is the layout. Let's just read this. This is an example of an index match formula. However, instead of the older match function, we're utilizing XMATCH. Index name XMATCH 0, score 1. Almost the exact same thing here. Lookup value, lookup array, match mode. Here's the benefit of the XMATCH. Our match mode in the past was limited to 0 and 1. Here, we have 0, which is an exact match. We have -1, which is an exact match or next smallest. We have 1, which is equal to exact match or next larger. And then we have wildcard. We can do a search mode. Optional. 1 equals search from first. It's usually from here. Search from last, here. A binary search, and a binary search descending. We're not going to get into binary. That's helpful because you can refine your searches now. XMATCH here, the lookup value is set to 0. I don't know if it's set to 0 here. Let's look. Well, we have name 317. The lookup list is set to the golf score list, C5, C15. I put name ranges in here. XMATCH, the lookup value here is, well, we're not looking up a value. We're trying to find the values. We can do that. And our lookup array is the score. We're going to look up the mode. 1 is the exact match or next smallest. Why? Because there might be ties or what have you. And Excel will find the first low score. Let's say, for example, we have 66 here for Irene and then a 66 for Jim. Let's just say that's the lowest score. It's going to give Irene. Well, let's just see if this plays out right. Let's try to find a duplicate low score and see where the outcome. So we have 68, 65, and see here, we have 265. No, we don't. We have 165, F9. We have a 66 and 66. See right here? We have Lewis and Teresa. Now, if we went in here and we changed this to start from the bottom, let's go here. I'm going to modify this to search from last. And that would be -1. -1 equals, it's a matter of, and I don't know if this will work. Okay, we have Irene 66, and there's only 166. I'm just playing around with ties. If we have 265 lows, keep going, 64, 60, nope, 1. 67, you see there's 2 67s. Okay, we have 67 here and a 67 here. It started from the bottom and it picked Teresa. So this is optional. We'll remove this and go back to the status quo because it readjusts every time or recalcs every time you make a change. We have 64, we have a single 64. What I'm just trying to point out that there is a way to remove ties, but that's later. So 65, here's a single 65. F9. This is why I have the random betweens. We can work through some of this stuff without having undue tutorials just trying to cover 30-second conversations. For example, we're trying to figure out what to do about ties. If there are ties, that could be a tutorial on its own. We have Zachary and we have Joseph, and it's Zachary. Moving on. Because the lookup value is set to 0, XMATCH will search for the first golf score greater than 0, lower than 0. We could change this to greater by just simply changing the format, but here we're just going less than. Match will return the first exact match or the next largest value, regardless of the list order. The lookup does not need to be sorted. In the past, in some cases, if we were doing lookups, for example, VLOOKUPs, sometimes you'd have to put this in ascending order. XMATCH returns a value because it's random. It's going to be, well, in this case, Zachary, the lowest score in B5. It would be in whatever position this is, 1, 2, 3, 4, it would be in the 5th position. This golf score, all we did was we're looking for golf score. It's the same thing, but here, notice the difference. The only change here is we have the name, and we just went over here and we put score. Everything else is the same. Other than that, the lowest index name, going to go down that index score, match the lowest. Here's how it works. I have the lowest here. I showed you the lowest. Brad Williams, XL Prime.